what they can do to the body and the mind? I can teach you to trap the senses and stop death. If you only pay attention. Potter, Snape says suddenly, what happens if I mix the powder of asphodel root with an infusion of wormwood? Hermione raises her hand quickly to answer. I don't know, sir, answers Harry. Snape's lips turn into an evil smile. Being famous obviously does not help you, does it? Let's try again, shall we, Potter? Where would you look if I told you to find me a bezoar? Hermione lifts her hand high into the air again. She is almost falling out of her seat. But Harry does not even know what a bezoar is. He certainly does not know where to find one. I don't know, sir, he answers. I see you did not even look at your books before coming to Hogwarts, eh, Potter? Harry tries to ignore the mean comment. He has looked through his magic books, but how can he memorize everything about herbs and potions? Snape continues to ignore Hermione's hand. What is the difference, Potter, between monkshood and wolfsbane? Hermione jumps up and raises her hand as high as she can. I don't know, says Harry quietly. I think Hermione knows, though. Why don't you ask her? Some of the other children laugh, but Snape does not think it is funny at all. Sit down, girl, he yells at Hermione. For your information, Potter, asphodel and wormwood make a powerful sleeping potion. A bezoar is a stone that is found in the stomach of a goat that will protect you from most poisons. And monkshood and wolfsbane are the same plant. Why is no one writing any of this down? The children suddenly look for quills and paper to begin writing. Then Snape says, and 2 points will be taken away from Gryffindor House for your insolence, Potter. An hour later, as Harry, Ron, and Hermione go to meet Hagrid, Harry feels terrible. He is responsible for Gryffindor losing 2 points in his very first week at school. Why does Snape hate him so much, he asks himself. Don't worry, Harry, says Ron. Snape always takes points away from Fred and George. Hagrid lives in a small wooden house very close to the Forbidden Forest. When Harry knocks on the door, there is a series of loud noises and cries inside, things falling to the ground and Hagrid yelling, "Back, Fang, back!" Suddenly, the door opens and there is Hagrid's big, hairy face. Just a second, Harry. Back, Fang! Hagrid finally opens the door and lets them in. He is trying to control an enormous black dog. The house is very small. There is only one room, and in the corner there is a huge bed where Hagrid sleeps. There is a pot boiling on an open fire in the fireplace. "Make yourselves at home," says Hagrid. He lets Fang go, and he runs and jumps on Hermione and begins licking her. Like Hagrid, Fang is not as scary as he looks. "Hagrid, this is Ron,"
says Harry.
"Another Weasley, eh?"
says Hagrid, looking at Ron's red hair and freckles.
"I spend half my life chasing your brothers away from the Forbidden Forest."
Ron has an embarrassed look on his face.
"And this is Hermione,"
Harry continues.
"I see you love animals,"
says Hagrid. Fang, his ferocious dog, is sitting on the couch with his huge head on her lap.
"It's a pleasure to meet you."
The cakes that Hagrid has prepared for everyone are like round blobs, and the raisins are so hard they almost break their teeth. Fang drools on Hermione's new robes. They all talk about the first week of school. Harry is especially happy that Hagrid calls the school's caretaker Argus Filch a stinkpot.
"And I really hate his cat, Mrs. Norris. I'd like to introduce Fang to her one day. Filch makes his cat follow me every time I go on to campus,"
says Hagrid angrily. When Harry and Ron talk about Snape's class, Hagrid tells them not to worry, that Snape doesn't like any of his students anyway.
"But he seems to really hate me,"
says Harry.
Don't be silly, Harry,"
says Hagrid.
"Why would he hate you?"
Hagrid says this in a strange way. It seems to Harry that Hagrid does not want to look him in the eye.
How's your brother Charlie?"
Hagrid asks Ron.
"I liked him a lot while he was here at Hogwarts."
Harry wonders if Hagrid has changed the subject on purpose. Ron and Hagrid chat about Charlie, and Hermione pets Fang, who is making loud, rumbling noises of pleasure. Harry picks up a piece of paper that is on the table. It is a news story from the newspaper The Daily Prophet. Latest news: attempted robbery at Gringotts Bank. Investigations continue to try to find the criminals responsible for the attempted robbery of Gringotts Bank on July 31st. Investigators believe that dark wizards and witches are responsible, but no one has been identified. The goblins at Gringotts insist that nothing has been taken. The vault that was broken into was already empty. Harry remembers Ron telling him something about the robbery on the train, but Harry had forgotten all about it.
"Hagrid,"
says Harry,
"the break-in at Gringotts happened on my birthday. It could have happened while we were there."
This time Harry is certain. Hagrid does not look Harry in the eyes. He makes a strange sound and tries to ignore Harry. As they walk back to the castle after their visit with Hagrid, there are many unanswered questions in Harry's head. They went to Gringotts on his birthday, and Hagrid removed the package from Vault 713. Were the thieves looking for that package? Did Hagrid remove the package just in time? Where is the package now? And most importantly, does Hagrid know something about Snape that he does not want to tell Harry? Chapter 9: The Midnight Duel. On the day Harry learns that his flying lessons will begin, he also learns Draco Malfoy will be in his class. "I can't believe it," Harry complains. "I'm going to make a fool of myself on a broomstick in front of Malfoy." "You don't know that, Harry," says Ron. "Malfoy says he's so good at Quidditch, but I think he just likes to hear the sound of his own voice."
But, like Harry, there are other children who are nervous about learning to fly. Neville Longbottom has never been on a broomstick in his life, mainly because he always has accidents. And Hermione is almost as nervous as Neville. Flying on a broomstick is something that she cannot learn from a book. But of course she has tried. Later that afternoon, they have their first lesson in a large grass field near the Forbidden Forest. On the ground there are 20 broomsticks, lying in perfect lines in the grass. The older students from Gryffindor say that the school brooms are not very good. They say that they vibrate if you fly too high, or they always fly a little to the left. Their flying teacher is Madame Hooch. She is short, with gray hair and yellow eyes.
"Well, what are you all waiting for?"
she barks.
"Everyone, stand next to a broomstick. Come on, hurry up."
Harry looks down at his broomstick. It is very old, and it looks very uncomfortable and very unsafe.
"Hold your right hand over your broom and say, 'Up!'"
yells Madame Hooch.
"Up, up, up!"
everyone shouts. Harry's broom jumps into his hand immediately. But this does not happen with the other students. Hermione's broom just rolls over on the ground, and Neville's broom does not move at all. Maybe brooms know when you are scared, Harry thinks. Neville's voice sounds like he is terrified, and he wants to keep his feet on the ground. Madame Hooch then shows them how to get on their brooms and sit without falling off. She walks down the line of children and corrects how they are holding the brooms. Harry and Ron are very happy when she tells Malfoy that he has been doing it incorrectly for years.
"Now,"
yells Madame Hooch,
"when I blow my whistle, push hard off the ground with your feet. Keep your broom steady, rise a meter or so, and then come back down by leaning forward a little bit. 3, 2..."
But Neville, because he is so nervous, pushes very hard with his feet before Madame Hooch blows the whistle.
"Come back, boy,"
she shouts. But Neville is rising straight up into the air like a cork from a champagne bottle. 5 meters, 10 meters. Harry can see Neville's terrified face looking down. Neville screams in fear, slips over the side of his broom, and Neville is lying on his face in the grass, and his broomstick flies off by itself into the Forbidden Forest. Madame Hooch is standing over Neville.
"Broken wrist,"
she says quietly.
"Come on, boy, it's all right. Up you go."
Madame Hooch helps Neville up and says to the whole class,
"None of you move while I take this boy to the hospital wing. Leave the broomsticks on the ground, or you will be expelled from Hogwarts before you can say Quidditch. Let's go, dear."
As she walks away with Neville, the children notice something shining and sparkling in the grass where Neville has fallen. It is Neville's Remember-All, a shiny, round glass ball that helps you remember things. It is a gift Neville has received from his grandmother. Malfoy runs over to the object and picks it up.
It's that stupid thing Longbottom's grandmother sent him,
laughs Malfoy.
Give that to me, Malfoy,
says Harry quietly. Everyone stops talking and watches what is about to happen. Malfoy has a cruel smile on his face.
I think I'll leave it somewhere for Longbottom to find. How about up in a tree,
says Malfoy.
Give it here,
yells Harry. But Malfoy jumps on his broomstick and flies away. He is not lying. He knows how to fly well. High above, Malfoy calls out,
Come and get it, Potter.
Harry picks up his broom.
No,
shouts Hermione Granger.
Madam Hooch told us not to move. You'll get us all in trouble.
Harry ignores her. He jumps onto his broom and kicks hard against the ground. He flies high into the air. He realizes with great joy that he is naturally good at flying. It is easy and wonderful. He leans back on the broomstick and flies higher into the sky. He can hear the screams and gasps of the children on the ground, and he hears Ron shout in admiration,
Go get him, Harry!
Harry turns his broomstick to face Malfoy in mid-air. Malfoy is not expecting any of this. He is in shock.
Give me Neville's Remember-All, yells Harry, or I'll knock you off your broom.
Malfoy begins to look a little worried.
Oh, yeah?
He answers.
Come and get it.
Harry does not know how he knows, but he knows what to do. He leans forward and shoots towards Malfoy like a bullet. Malfoy manages to move out of the way just in time.
Crabbe and Goyle aren't up here to save you, Malfoy,
yells Harry as he turns around to face Malfoy again.
Come on, Potter,
yells Malfoy.
Catch it if you can.
He throws the glass ball high into the air and turns quickly and flies back down to the ground. Harry sees the ball rise high into the air and then start to fall back to the ground. He leans forward and points his broom down. He begins to move faster and faster, racing the ball as it falls. The wind is whistling in his ears as he dives down. The children below are yelling and cheering in support. He reaches out his hand, and just before he crashes into the ground, he catches the ball and pulls up on the broomstick and lands softly in the grass. He is holding Neville's Remember-All safely in his hand.
Harry Potter!
It is Professor McGonagall. She is coming towards them quickly. Harry gets to his feet. He is terrified of what Professor McGonagall will do to him.
I have never, in all my time here at Hogwarts, seen such disobedience from first-year students. You might have broken your neck.
Professor McGonagall is very angry.
Follow me, Potter, right now. I'm going to be expelled,
Harry thinks.
I just know it.
He wants to say something to defend himself, but he cannot find his voice. He has not been at Hogwarts for 2 weeks, and he is now going to have to return to live with the Dursleys. Professor McGonagall does not say a word as she enters the school. Harry follows her miserably as they walk down a long corridor and stop in front of a classroom. Professor McGonagall opens the door.
"Excuse me, Professor Flitwick. I need to borrow Oliver Wood for a moment."
A confused boy comes out of the room. He is an older boy from the 5th year.
"Come with me, Wood. You too, Potter."
They follow Professor McGonagall as she walks quickly down the corridor and enters an empty classroom.
"Potter, this is Oliver Wood. Wood, I've found you a seeker."
The confused look on Wood's face changes to happiness.
"Are you serious, Professor?"
says Wood.
"Absolutely," she answers. "The boy is a natural. I have never seen anything like it. Wood's captain of the Gryffindor team,"
Professor McGonagall explains.
"Was that your first time on a broom, Potter?"
Harry does not have a clue what is happening, but he nods his head yes.
He is the perfect size for a seeker. Light, fast,
Wood says excitedly.
We'll have to get him a decent broom, Professor. A Nimbus 2000 or a Clean Sweep 7. Have you ever seen a game of Quidditch, Potter?"
Harry shakes his head no.
That doesn't matter. If what Professor McGonagall says is true, you might be the perfect person to help us end Gryffindor's losing streak. It's about time we take back the cup from Slytherin."
Professor McGonagall looks at Harry very sternly.
"I want you to train very hard, Potter, or I might still punish you for your disobedience today."
Then she suddenly smiles.
"Your father would have been proud of you. He was an excellent Quidditch player himself, you know," she says. "Now, get back to your house. We'll talk later."
Harry, still confused but excited, heads back to Gryffindor. Later that night, during dinner, Harry tells Ron and the other children of Gryffindor about his encounter with Professor McGonagall. It is hard for them to believe it. Even Harry has difficulty believing what is happening. But Wood confirms the incredible news when he comes by the table and talks to Harry again.
"You start training next week, Potter. You'll be the youngest seeker in a century at Hogwarts. See you next week."
Ron is so impressed and amazed, he just sits there with his mouth open. Then Malfoy appears. Crabbe and Goyle stand next to him like stone columns.
"Is this your last meal before you get expelled, Potter?"
says Malfoy with a cruel smile on his face.
"I hope you enjoy life with the Muggles again."
He laughs at his own meanness.
"You're very brave, now that you are on the ground with your little friends with you,"
says Harry, with more confidence than he feels. In fact, Crabbe and Goyle are not little at all.
"I can fight you any time, Potter,"
says Malfoy.
"How about tonight? A wizard's duel. Wands only, no physical contact." "What's the matter? You've never heard of a wizard's duel?" "Of course he has,"
answers Ron in Harry's defense.
"Harry accepts, and I'll be his second."
Malfoy smiles and looks at the two boys beside him.
"Crabbe's my second. Tonight then, at midnight, in the trophy room."
Malfoy looks at Harry with a mean face.
"Don't be late, coward,"
he says, and walks away with Crabbe and Goyle on each side.
"You can't have a wizard's duel with Malfoy tonight,"
says Hermione, who has been listening to the conversation.
"You'll be caught, and you'll get us all in trouble again." "I don't even know what a wizard's duel is," says Harry, confused. "And what's a second, Ron?" "Well, as your second," answers Ron, "if you die in the duel, I take over. It's a normal practice in the wizarding world. But don't worry, I don't think either of you know enough magic to really hurt each other. Just a bunch of noise and smoke, probably."
Later that night, Harry is nervous about his duel with Malfoy. But he gets out of bed, picks up his wand, and he and Ron leave the Gryffindor common room as quietly as they can. Before they can exit through the painting in the corridor, there is a voice from one of the chairs.
"I can't believe you're going to do this, Harry."
It is Hermione Granger.
"You!"
says Ron angrily.
"Go back to bed. I'm coming too."
It is Neville Longbottom, who wakes up when he hears all the talking. Harry does not want anyone to get in trouble, but he is relieved that he will not face Malfoy alone. The small group leaves the common room and heads down the corridor to the trophy room. Hermione continues to complain about Gryffindor losing points, and Neville walks into a wall in the dark corridor. At every corner, the children expect to see Filch or his cat, Mrs. Norris, but they are lucky. They finally arrive at the trophy room safely, but the trophy room is empty. Malfoy and Crabbe are not there. The minutes pass, but Malfoy does not come.
"Maybe he's afraid,"
says Ron, hopefully. Suddenly they hear a voice from the next room. It is not Malfoy. It is Filch talking to his cat.
"Can you smell them? They are in here somewhere, for sure. They are probably hiding."
Malfoy has tricked them. He has told Filch that Harry will be waiting in the trophy room. Harry does not wait to be captured. "Follow me," he whispers, and they run silently toward another door, away from Filch's voice. Neville, in complete terror, crashes into a suit of armor that is in the trophy room. The sound is loud enough to wake all of Hogwarts. "Run!" yells Harry. They run as fast as they can. They do not look back to see if Filch is following them. They have no idea where they are going until they come to the end of a corridor. There is a locked door. They can hear footsteps approaching them. It must be Filch.
"I know a spell to unlock doors,"
says Hermione. Hermione touches her wand to the lock on the door and says,
"Alohomora."
The lock clicks, and they run through the door. They wait quietly on the other side, listening. They can hear Filch talking to Mrs. Norris.
"There's no one in this corridor, and the door is locked. They must have gone down another corridor, my love. Let's go."
They can hear Filch's footsteps move in the opposite direction.
"I think we're safe now," says Harry. "What is it, Neville? Stop pulling on my robe."
Harry turns around and sees quite clearly why Neville is trying to get Harry's attention. This night has turned into a nightmare. They are not in a room at all. They are in a corridor, the forbidden corridor on the 3rd floor. And now they know why it is prohibited to come here. They are looking straight into the eyes of a giant dog. A dog that fills the whole space between the floor and the ceiling. The monstrous dog has 3 heads. Looking at the children are 3 pairs of huge eyes, 3 wet noses, and 3 drooling mouths, with saliva hanging down like ropes from giant yellow teeth. The monster is standing perfectly still, just looking at them. And the only reason they are not dead already is that the children surprised the dog. But the dog is recovering quickly from its surprise. Harry reaches desperately for the doorknob and turns it. If he has a choice between Filch and being eaten by a dog, he will take Filch. They all run through the door, and Harry shuts it quickly behind them. Luckily, Filch is not there anymore. They run back to Gryffindor as fast as their feet can take them, until they are standing in front of the painting of the fat lady that covers the secret entrance. Now, safe inside the Gryffindor common room, Hermione says,
"Did anyone use their eyes in that corridor?"
All the children look at her, confused.
"I used my eyes, and all I saw was a giant dog,"
says Harry.
"Didn't you see what it was standing on?"
"The floor," answers Ron.
"No, not the floor. It was standing on a trap door. It's obviously guarding something. This night has been too much for me. I'm going to bed."
All the children agree that the night has been a very exciting one, and as Harry is lying in his bed, he has a lot to think about. The dog was guarding something. Could the dog be hiding something important? Like a package that someone wanted to steal from Gringotts? Hagrid had told Harry the only place safer than Gringotts was Hogwarts. It looks like Harry has discovered where that little package from Vault 713 is. Chapter 10: Halloween. Harry continues to focus on his lessons the next few days, and also on the mystery of the package from Vault 713. Then, one day, while having lunch in the great hall, hundreds of owls fly in, carrying letters for their owners. Several of the owls are flying in a group, holding a long object in their talons. They fly towards Harry and drop the object onto the table in front of him. The object is long and slim and wrapped in brown paper. It is obviously a broomstick. There is a letter attached to the object. It reads,
"Do not open this at the table. It is a Nimbus 2000, and I don't want all the other first-year students to know that you have one, or else they will all want one too. Oliver Wood will meet you on the Quidditch field tonight at 7 o'clock
for your first training session. Professor M. McGonagall. Ron and the children nearby all look at the broomstick in amazement. Later that afternoon, Harry opens the package in his room.
"A Nimbus 2000,"
says Ron, who is very jealous because he knows he will only get one of his older brother's broomsticks.
"I've never seen one before."
The broomstick is beautiful. It is long and thin, and it looks very fast. They all talk excitedly about flying on their broomsticks, and they can't wait to see Harry fly on his. As 7 o'clock approaches, Harry leaves the castle and runs towards the Quidditch field. Inside the stadium there are rows and rows of seats. The rows of seats go high into the air, so all the spectators can see what is going on during the games. At each end of the field there are 3 tall poles with round hoops at the top. Harry thinks they look like giant sticks that children use to blow soap bubbles. While he is waiting for Wood to arrive, Harry decides to try out his new broomstick. He gets on and kicks off the ground. What a feeling! He soars up high into the sky and flies back and forth through the hoops. The broomstick responds perfectly to all his movements. Then Harry hears a shout from below. "Hey, Potter, come down!" Oliver Wood is there waiting for him. He is carrying a large wooden box. When Harry gets down, Oliver says, "McGonagall was right about you. You are a natural. I'll just teach you the rules tonight. Then you can begin to practice 3 times a week with the team." Quidditch is easy to understand, really. There are 7 players on each side. There are 3 chasers, 1 keeper, 2 beaters, and 1 seeker. Harry looks confused when he hears all these new words, but he repeats them diligently so he can memorize them quickly. Then Wood opens the large box. There are 4 balls of different sizes inside the box. "This ball is called the quaffle," says Wood. "It is made of red leather and is about the size of a normal football. The chasers throw the quaffle to each other and try to throw it through one of the hoops to score a goal. You get 10 points every time the quaffle goes through one of the hoops." That's kind of like basketball, Harry thinks to himself. He understands basketball well enough. "Now, the keeper," continues Wood, "I'm the keeper for Gryffindor. I have to defend the hoops from the other team's chasers. I make sure no one scores on us." "Okay," thinks Harry, "the keeper keeps the quaffle from going through the hoops. Got it." "What are the other balls for?" asks Harry. "I'll show you," says Wood. "Here, take this." He gives Harry a small stick, like a short baseball bat. Then he shows Harry 2 identical balls. They are black and a little smaller than the quaffle. These 2 balls are called bludgers. Harry notices the bludgers seem to be moving and trying to escape from the box, but there are strong straps that are holding the balls down. "Stand back," warns Wood. He unstraps one of the bludgers and it zooms high into the air and then speeds straight at Harry's face. Harry swings the bat to protect himself, and the ball flies away into the air in crazy zigzags. It turns quickly back towards Wood and flies right at his face, but Wood is able to catch it and hold it on the ground. "The bludgers," says Wood, having difficulty holding the ball down. "Fly around and try to knock players off their brooms. The beaters protect the other players from the bludgers. The Weasley twins are the beaters on our team." Harry looks worried. Wood has a bit of difficulty putting the bludger back into the box.
Have the bludgers ever killed anyone?"
Harry asks. "There have been a bunch of bruises and a couple of broken noses, but nothing serious at Hogwarts. Last of all is the Seeker. That's you. You don't have to worry about the Quaffle or the bludgers." He reaches into the box and takes out the fourth and last ball. It is about the size of a squash ball. It is bright gold and has little wings that are flapping up and down rapidly. "This," says Wood, "is the golden snitch. It's the most important ball of all. It's hard to catch because it's so fast and difficult to see. It's the Seeker's job, your job, to catch it. Your main objective is to get it before the other team's Seeker does. The team who catches it wins 150 points, and the game only ends when someone catches the snitch. Any questions, Potter?" Harry shakes his head no. "We won't practice with the snitch yet," says Wood as he puts it back in the box. "We'll start with a few of these first." He takes some ordinary golf balls from his pocket. A few moments later, Harry and Wood fly up into the air. Wood throws the golf balls as hard as he can, one at a time, in every direction, so Harry can try to catch them. Harry does not miss a single golf ball. Wood is very excited. They practice until it becomes too dark to see the golf balls. "We'll win the Quidditch Cup for sure with you on our team," yells Wood as they descend to the ground. Wood puts the golf balls into his pocket, picks up the box, and they head back to the castle. Harry feels very content. For once in his life, he has discovered something that he is good at. Time passes at Hogwarts. Harry has been so busy with Quidditch practice and classes and homework that he does not realize that he has already been at the school for 2 months. The castle feels more like a home to him than Privet Drive ever did. His lessons are becoming more interesting, too, now that he understands the basics. On Halloween Day, all the children in Professor Flitwick's Charms class finally get to practice making objects fly. They are very excited about this opportunity. Everyone except Ron. He has to work with Hermione. They do not seem to get along very well. And Harry has to work with Neville. Harry is a little scared about this partnership. Professor Flitwick warns the children to pronounce the magic words correctly, and he warns them to use the correct movements of their magic wands. If they do not, tragic things might happen. It is very difficult for the children. It is their first time trying this kind of magic, after all. Harry moves his wand back and forth in the air, but he is not able to make his feather move. Neville is so erratic with his movements and words that he sets his feather on fire, and Harry has to put it out with his hat. The day does not begin very well for either of them. Ron is not having much luck either. "Wingardium Leviosa!" he shouts and he waves his wand in a large circle in the air.
"You're saying it wrong,"
says Hermione in an impatient voice.
"It's Wingardium Leviosa. You emphasize the ga."
"You do it then, if you think you're so smart," says Ron angrily. Hermione rolls up the sleeves of her robes, moves her wand quickly in the air, and says,
"Wingardium Leviosa."
The feather rises off the table and floats about 1 meter above their heads. All the children cheer for Hermione. Ron is in a bad mood for the rest of the class.
"It's no surprise that no one likes to be around her,"
Ron says to Harry as they are leaving the class.
"She's a nightmare."
Hermione passes by at that very moment. Ron and Harry can see that she is crying.
"I think she heard you, Ron,"
says Harry class, and Ron and Harry do not see her all afternoon. Later that night, as they are walking to the great hall for the Halloween party, Ron overhears another student talking about Hermione.
"I saw her earlier in the girls' bathroom. She was crying so much. She wouldn't tell me what was wrong."
Ron now feels even more uncomfortable. The children sit at the long tables in the great hall. Suddenly, all the empty plates are full of delicious food, and the empty cups are full of cool water and sweet juice. The Halloween festivities are about to begin. Harry is about to eat a giant spoonful of mashed potatoes when Professor Quirrell comes running into the hall. His turban is almost falling off, and he has a terrified look on his face. Professor Quirrell runs to the high table where Dumbledore is sitting and yells, "There's a troll in the dungeons!" And then he falls to the floor completely unconscious. There is total chaos. The children scream in fear. The teachers run up and down the aisles between the tables to try to calm the children. Professor Dumbledore has to set off exploding fireworks from his wand to quiet the children.
"Prefects,"
he says in a stern voice,
"take your houses back to the dormitories immediately. Quickly now."
Percy and all the other prefects call their children. "Follow me. Stay together, first years. You do not need to be afraid of the troll if you do what I say. Stay behind me now. Let's go." Percy moves through the confusion with all the Gryffindor children behind him.
"How could a troll get in?"
Harry asks as they go up the stairs to the Gryffindor common room. "Don't ask me," answers Ron.
"Aren't they supposed to be really stupid? Maybe one of the ghosts let it in."
The Gryffindor children pass different groups of children hurrying in all different directions. As they pass through a crowded corridor, Harry suddenly remembers.
"Ron! Hermione!" "What about Hermione?"
answers Ron.
"She's still in the girls' bathroom. She doesn't know about the troll."
Ron looks at Harry with shock on his face. He knows what they must do, but he is afraid to do it.
"Oh, all right,"
he says.
"But we can't tell Percy. He would turn us into frogs if he found out."
Carefully and quietly, Harry and Ron turn around in the chaos and run in the other direction towards the girls' bathroom. They run down a deserted corridor, and suddenly they hear the sound of footsteps behind them. They hide behind a large statue and wait. They think it must be Percy. But it is not Percy. It is Snape. He turns down the corridor and disappears around a corner.
"What is Snape doing here?"
asks Harry.
"Why isn't he in the dungeons helping the other teachers?"
As quietly as possible, they follow Snape down the corridor.
"He's going to the 3rd floor,"
says Harry in surprise. Ron suddenly puts a hand on Harry's shoulder, stopping him.
"Can you smell something?"
Ron asks. Harry sniffs, and he smells a terrible smell. It is a mixture of old socks and dirty toilets. And then they hear it, a low grunting sound like a giant pig, and the sound of very heavy footsteps. Ron points. At the end of the corridor, there is something huge moving towards them. They hide in the shadows. The thing moves into the moonlight from a window. It is a horrible creature. It is almost 4 meters tall. Its skin is a sick gray color. There are lumps all over its body like blisters. It has a small head like a coconut on its shoulders. Its legs are short and as thick as tree trunks. The smell coming from the creature is incredible. It is holding a large wooden club in its long arms. The troll stops next to a doorway and looks inside. Then it slowly enters the room and closes the door behind it.
"Oh no!"
says Ron. His face is as white as paper.
"The troll went into the girls' bathroom. Hermione is in there!"
Harry shouts in desperation. They look at each other with fear in their eyes. They know they have no choice. They run to the bathroom door, throw it open, and jump inside. Hermione Granger is on the floor against the opposite wall. The look on her face is complete terror. The troll slowly moves towards her. It breaks all the sinks along the wall with its large club. Water begins to spray everywhere.
"We have to confuse it,"
Harry tells Ron. Harry picks up a broken piece of sink and throws it against the wall next to the troll's head. The troll has a shocked look on its face. It turns around and sees Harry. It roars, a wild, terrifying roar. It begins to move towards Harry. Then Ron acts. He takes a metal pipe and throws it at the troll from the other side of the room. The pipe hits the troll on the back. It turns the other way and sees Ron. Now it is in total confusion. It roars again. It raises its huge club to hit Ron.
"Hermione,"
Harry yells,
"get up! Move! Get out of the bathroom!"
Hermione cannot move. She is frozen with fear. Harry then does something that is very courageous and very stupid. He runs as fast as he can and jumps as high as he can and lands on the troll's back. He throws his arms around the troll's neck. By pure luck, Harry's wand is in his hand when he puts his arms around the troll's neck. The wand goes straight up into the troll's nose. Trolls are large and strong, but a sharp stick stuck far up into its nose will get its attention. The troll howls in pain and spins and twirls around and around. Its club breaks all the walls and the ceiling of the bathroom. Now the club is moving towards Hermione. Ron reacts without thinking. He waves his wand quickly in the air and says in a loud voice, "Wingardium Leviosa!" The club suddenly flies out of the troll's hand, rises high into the air, and falls down with a loud crack right on top of its head. The troll's eyes begin to roll in its head. Then it begins to fall forward. Harry jumps off just before the troll hits the ground with its face. The whole room shakes. Harry is shaking and confused. Ron is standing near the door. His wand is still raised in the air. He cannot believe what he has done. Hermione has a look of amazement on her face.
"Is it dead?"
she asks.
"I don't think so,"
answers Harry.
I think we just knocked it out."
Harry takes his wand and pulls it out of the troll's nose. It is covered in disgusting gray slime like glue.
"Yuck! Troll boogers!"
He cleans the wand on the troll's pants. There is a sudden sound from outside the bathroom and the sound of many footsteps coming towards them. A moment later, Professor McGonagall comes into the bathroom. Behind her is Snape and then Quirrell. Quirrell looks at the troll, turns around, and almost vomits into one of the broken toilets. Professor McGonagall looks at Ron with white anger in her face. Harry thinks there is no way they will win any points for this victory.
"What on earth were you thinking of?"
asks Professor McGonagall as she looks at Harry and Ron.
"Please, Professor McGonagall, they were looking for me."
It is Hermione. She finally gets up off the floor. She is still shaking in fear.
"I went to look for the troll myself,"
she continues.
"I thought I could defeat it alone."
Ron and Harry look at each other in amazement. Hermione is telling an obvious lie to the teacher.
"If they hadn't found me, I would be dead right now. Harry stuck his wand up the troll's nose, and Ron cast a spell to knock its club out of its hand. There was no time for them to find anyone to help."
She continues the lie.
"Well, in that case,"
says Professor McGonagall, looking at the three children,
"Miss Granger, you are a foolish girl. Did you really think you could defeat a mountain troll by yourself?"
Hermione looks embarrassed. Harry can't believe what is happening. Hermione is the last person in the world to tell a lie.
"Miss Granger," continues Professor McGonagall, "Gryffindor will lose 5 points because of your actions. If you are not hurt, you may return to your common room."
She turns to look at Harry and Ron.
"You two are very lucky. An adult mountain troll is difficult to destroy, even for an experienced witch or wizard. You each win
Gryffindor 5 points. Professor Dumbledore will be informed. You may all go now." They all run quickly from the room. They finally arrive at the secret entrance to House Gryffindor. They say the magic words and pass the fat woman in the painting. Before going to their separate common rooms, the three of them look at each other, embarrassed.
Thanks.
They all say at the same time. Then Harry and Ron run to the boys' side, and Hermione walks quickly to the girls' side. From that moment on, the three of them become fast friends, because there are some things that you do that bring you together and make a friendship strong, especially defeating a 4-meter-tall adult mountain troll in a girl's bathroom at Hogwarts. Chapter 11. Quidditch. As the days pass, the weather becomes cold. It is November. Quidditch season has begun. Harry has been training very hard. On Saturday he is going to play his first game. Gryffindor will be playing Slytherin. If Gryffindor wins, they will be in second place in the house championship. Harry is glad that he and Hermione are good friends now. He has very little time during the week to study because of all the extra Quidditch training he has been doing, and she helps him a lot with his homework. But Harry is having difficulty finishing his homework for Snape's class, and the last thing he wants is for Snape to hate him even more. Harry decides he will try to talk to Snape and explain why he is late turning in his homework. Harry decides to go to the teacher's lounge to talk to Snape. Hopefully he will be nicer to Harry if there are other teachers around. "Good luck," says Ron, who is relaxing in the common room with him.
"You're going to need it."
Harry goes down to the teacher's lounge and knocks on the door. No one answers. He knocks again. Nothing. Harry thinks it is strange that there are no teachers in the teacher's lounge. It is always full of teachers between classes. He pushes the door open just a little bit and looks inside. Snape is in the room, and he is with Filch. Snape is sitting on a chair and holding his leg out. It is injured and bloody. Filch is putting bandages around it.
"I can't believe he bit me,"
Snape is saying.
"How are you supposed to look at all 3 heads at the same time?"
Harry tries to shut the door quietly, but
"Potter!"
Snape's face has an angry look on it as he stands up quickly to hide his leg. Harry is terrified.
"I just wondered if I could talk to you about my homework."
"Get out! Out!"
When Harry returns to the common room, he tells Ron and Hermione what he has seen.
"You know what that means?"
says Harry.
"Snape had an encounter with the 3-headed dog on Halloween. That's where he was going when we saw him, to try to get through the trap door under the dog. And he probably let the troll in too, to make a diversion,"
says Ron.
"I wonder what the dog is hiding?"
asks Harry before they all go to sleep for the night. That night Harry can't sleep. It's not because Neville is snoring. It's because he has so many questions flying around inside his head. He needs to sleep because his first Quidditch game is in a few hours. But Harry can't forget the look on Snape's face when he saw his leg. Finally, Harry is able to fall asleep. He does not sleep well at all. The next morning is bright and cold. The whole school is excited about the Quidditch match today. And by 11 o'clock, the stadium is full of students and teachers. Many students have binoculars to be able to see all the exciting moments of the match. Ron, Hermione, and Neville find seats on the top row of the stands. They have an amazing view of the whole field. Finally, the two teams come out of the locker rooms and onto the field. The stadium is filled with loud cheers and whistles. Madam Hooch is refereeing. She is considered one of the strictest refs in the sport. She stands in the middle of the field, waiting for the two teams to form around her. She is holding her broom in her hand. As Harry stands on the field with his team, he feels very nervous about his first game. The players on the other team look very big and strong. The Slytherin captain looks like he has some troll blood in him. But he can see his friends high in the stands. They are cheering for him. This gives him more confidence.
Now,
Madam Hooch screams,
I want a fair game from all of you.
Harry notices that she is speaking more to the Slytherin captain than to Gryffindor's captain.
Mount your broomsticks, please,
Madam Hooch continues. Harry climbs onto his Nimbus 2000.
Wait for my whistle,
screams Madam Hooch. Then she puts a shiny silver whistle into her mouth and blows hard. The players rise high into the air on their brooms. The game has begun.
And the quaffle is taken immediately by Angelina Johnson of Gryffindor. What an excellent chaser she is!
The commentator of the game shouts.
Oh no! Slytherin captain Marcus Flint steals the quaffle. Off he goes, Flint flying like an eagle up there. It looks good for Flint. He goes for a goal and what a save by Gryffindor keeper Oliver Wood. Gryffindor takes control.
The game goes back and forth. First, Gryffindor has control, then Slytherin takes the quaffle. The Weasley twins work together to cause chaos with the bludgers until
Angelina Johnson is back in control of the quaffle. There's a clear field ahead of her. Off she goes, like a speeding bullet. Wow, that was close, almost caught by a bludger. She's heading towards the goalposts. Slytherin keeper Bletchley makes a move to block. Misses! Gryffindor scores!
The stadium erupts in cheers for Gryffindor and boos from Slytherin. Suddenly, Hagrid appears in the stands next to Ron and the other children from Gryffindor. "Make some room for me, would you?" yells Hagrid. The children squeeze closer to make some space. "There's no sign of the snitch yet, is there?"
Not yet,
answers Ron.
There's not much for Harry to do until it appears.
Hagrid takes out some binoculars and focuses on Harry.
"He's keeping out of trouble for now, and that's good,"
says Hagrid. High above them, Harry is sitting on his broom. He is watching the development of the game and keeping an eye out for the snitch. This is part of Oliver Wood's game plan. Keep out of the way until you see the snitch. Wood tells Harry before the game. "We don't want you attacked before you have to be." After Angelina's goal, Harry feels more confident, but he is still nervous. He can't see any sign of the snitch.
That was a close call. Potter is almost bludgeoned by the bludger,
yells the commentator.
Now Slytherin are in possession of the quaffle. The Weasley chasers are chasing, but it looks like they might be too late. Wait a minute. Is that the snitch?
Harry sees it. Full of excitement, he dives down like a flash of lightning, straight towards the snitch. But Slytherin seeker Terrence Higgs has also seen it too. The race is on. All the other players on the teams appear to have forgotten about the game. They are all watching what is about to happen. Harry is faster than Higgs. He can see the little round ball and the flapping wings. It is just in front of him. He leans forward and gains some extra speed.
Oh no! Potter did not see that coming! The bludger has knocked him off course, and he has lost control. The snitch has escaped. It looks like Higgs has lost the snitch too. In all the confusion, what a match we have today, folks!
Suddenly, as Harry is dodging another bludger, it happens. He begins to lose control of his broom. It begins to move in erratic motions, up and down and side to side. He almost falls. He holds on tightly to the broom with both hands and both knees. He feels like he is gaining control again when...
What's going on with Potter? It looks like he has lost all control of his broomstick. He's zigzagging towards the Forbidden Forest. What on earth is going on? This is a great opportunity for Slytherin if Potter can't get back into the game.
"What is Harry thinking?"
asks Hagrid as he looks at Harry through his binoculars.
"Has he lost control of his broom? How has that happened? That's a Nimbus 2000.
Suddenly, people all over the stands are pointing up at Harry. He is going higher and higher into the air. Now his broom is rolling over like a spinning wheel. The crowd gasps in surprise and fear.
"The only thing that can interfere with a broomstick is dark magic," says Hagrid seriously. "Especially a Nimbus 2000.
Hermione suddenly grabs Hagrid's binoculars from Hagrid's hands. She does not look up at Harry. She starts looking into the crowd.
"What are you looking for? Harry's up there,"
says Ron, confused.
"I knew it,"
yells Hermione.
"Snape, look!" "I think he's cursing the broom. Look at his mouth moving. He's casting a dark spell on Harry's broom." "What should we do?"
asks Ron.
"I know what to do,"
says Hermione. Hermione runs quickly through the rows to the other side of the stands. In her rush, she accidentally pushes Professor Quirrell out of his seat. She finally arrives behind Snape's seat. She takes out her wand and whispers some words. Blue flames shoot from her wand onto the bottom of Snape's robes. They quickly begin to burn. Hermione looks up at Harry. Harry is hanging from his broom. He is about to fall. People begin to notice the flames on Snape's robes. Hermione runs quickly back to her seat. The flames are enough to distract Snape.
Look at that! What an amazing recovery! Potter is back on his broom and back in control. Look at him go! He's off! He's moving straight for the ground! He's going too fast! He's going to crash!
Just before he is about to crash into the ground, Harry suddenly pulls up on his broom. He jumps off his broom and rolls safely onto the grass. He is covering his mouth like he is going to vomit. He stands up and coughs. Something flies out of his mouth and into his hand.
"I've got the snitch!"
he shouts. He holds the snitch high above his head.
It's over, everyone! What an amazing turn of events! Potter has literally swallowed the snitch! What a historic moment in Quidditch! Gryffindor wins!
After the game, the Slytherin team files an official complaint to Madam Hooch. Technically, they say, Harry never caught the snitch, he swallowed it. But Madam Hooch ignores the complaint. Gryffindor is named winner and is now in second place. But Harry hears none of this. He and Ron and Hermione are at Hagrid's house, enjoying a cup of strong tea.
"It was Snape,"
Ron explains to Harry.
"Hermione saw him cursing your broomstick. He never took his eyes off you the whole time."
Hagrid protests.
That's nonsense, Weasley. Why would Snape try to hurt Harry?
Harry decides to tell Hagrid the truth.
"I discovered something about Snape," he tells Hagrid. "He tried to go past the three-headed dog and get through the trap door. It happened on Halloween. The dog bit him. I heard him talk about it. We think he was trying to steal whatever the dog is guarding."
Hagrid drops his teacup.
How do you know about Fluffy?
He asks in surprise.
"Fluffy?"
says Harry.
Yeah,
Continues Hagrid.
Fluffy's mine. I lent him to Dumbledore so he could guard the...
Harry looks at Hagrid with anticipation.
"Guard the what?"
he asks.
Oh, I shouldn't have opened my big mouth. Don't ask me any more questions about anything,
says Hagrid, angry at himself.
It's all very top secret, you know.
But Snape is trying to steal it, says Harry.
I'm telling you, you're all wrong, yells Hagrid. Snape would never do anything to hurt a student. Now, stop asking questions. Forget about Fluffy and the trapdoor. And anyway, all of that is between Dumbledore and Nicholas Flamel.
Hagrid stops talking suddenly.
"Aha!"
says Harry.
"So, there is more to this story. Hagrid, who is Nicholas Flamel?"
Hagrid is furious with himself. Chapter 12. The Mirror of Erised. Christmas is almost here. Most of the students will be going home for the holiday season to be with their families, but some students must stay at Hogwarts. Professor McGonagall provides a list for the students who will be staying. Harry signs the list immediately. He does not want to spend the holidays at Privet Drive. It's true that Harry will not be spending Christmas with his family, But he does not feel sorry for himself at all. Harry thinks this will be the best Christmas ever. Ron will be staying, and his brothers will be staying too. His parents are traveling to see his older brother in Romania. Hermione will also be staying. So Harry will not be alone during the holiday. He will be with his friends. Since their last meeting with Hagrid, the children have been looking for any information about Nicholas Flamel. They have been looking in the library for books about him. Unfortunately, they have not found anything yet. After all, there are thousands and thousands of books in Hogwarts library. But there is one place they have not searched yet, the restricted section in the library. But in order to check out a book from the restricted area, you need special permission from a teacher. There are many advanced books about dark magic and defense against the dark arts. The children know they will never get permission from any teacher. But Harry goes into the restricted area anyway.
What are you looking for, boy?
It is Madam Prince, the librarian. She is as old as some of the ancient books in the library.
Nothing,
Harry says in surprise.
Then you had better leave. Now. Get out.
Harry runs back to the Gryffindor common room. When Ron and Hermione join him later that day, he asks them if they have any luck searching for information about Flamel. Both of them shake their heads no. On Christmas Eve, Harry goes to bed thinking about the next morning, Christmas morning. He does not think he will get any presents. But when he wakes up early the next day, there are many gifts in a pile at the foot of his bed.
"Oh, Merry Christmas,"
says Ron, who is still almost asleep.
You too,
says Harry. He is excited to receive so many gifts. Harry and Ron bring their presents down to the common room so they can open them together with Hermione. Her presents are already there when the boys arrive.
Merry Christmas, Ron. Merry Christmas, Harry,
she says happily. The boys pile their presents next to hers, and they all begin to open their presents together. Harry gets a beautiful handmade wooden flute from Hagrid, and he also gets a warm hand-sewn sweater from Ron's mother.
She always makes a sweater for each of her children at Christmas,
says Ron.
But for some reason, the ones she makes for people who are not her children are much nicer than the ones she makes for her own children.
Ron holds up the sweater he got from his mother. It looks like it was made by a blind cat.
You still have one more present, Harry,
says Hermione. Harry picks up a small parcel. It is very light. He unwraps it. Something fluid and gray falls out of the wrapping onto the floor. Ron gasps in surprise.
Harry, you're so lucky. I've always wanted one of those.
Harry looks confused.
What is it?
He asks.
If it's what I think it is, it's very valuable,
answers Ron.
It's an invisibility cloak. Try it on.
Harry feels the material. It is shining and feels strange, almost like solid water. He puts the cloak around his shoulders, and Ron gives a satisfied yell.
It is an invisibility cloak.
Harry looks down at his body, but it is gone.
That's amazing, Harry,
yells Hermione. She feels a little jealous that Harry has such a powerful magic item. Harry runs to a mirror to look at himself. All he sees in the mirror is his head suspended in midair. His body is completely invisible. He pulls the cloak over his head and he disappears completely. There is no reflection of him at all in the mirror.
There's a note,
says Ron suddenly.
A note fell out of it.
Harry takes the cloak off and picks up the letter. The words are written in beautiful cursive.
Your father left this with me before he died. It now belongs to you. Use it well. A very Merry Christmas to you.
There is no signature on the note. Harry feels very strange. Who is the cloak from? Did the cloak really belong to his father?
Harry, what's wrong?
Asks Ron.
Nothing,
says Harry. Before he can say anything else, Percy, Ron's brother and prefect of Gryffindor, comes in. Come on, everyone, let's go. It's Christmas breakfast. Follow me. The children run after Percy. They are starving. This has been Harry's best Christmas day in his whole life. But something is still bothering him. As he is lying in bed, ready to sleep after a long Christmas day, he can't stop thinking about the invisibility cloak and the person who sent it to him. Harry sits up and reaches under the bed. He pulls out a box with the cloak in it. His father's cloak. This had been his father's cloak. The material feels smoother than silk and as light as air. Use it well, the note says. He has to try it. He gets out of bed silently and wraps the cloak around himself. He looks down at his body, but he can only see the floor of his bedroom and the shadows from the moon. It feels very strange, but exciting. Use it well. Suddenly, Harry feels wide awake. If he wears this cloak, he thinks, he can have access to all of Hogwarts. He can go anywhere. He is filled with excitement at the idea. Harry sneaks out of his dormitory. He goes down the stairs, past the fat lady in the painting.
Who's there?
She yells, and then he moves quickly down the corridor. Where should he go? He stops for a moment and thinks. His heart is beating very fast in his chest. Of course, the restricted section in the library. Off he goes as quickly and as quietly as he can. The library is as dark as night, pitch black. Harry lights a lamp to help him find his way down the corridors full of books. The lamp looks like it is floating in midair. It makes Harry feel a little scared. He moves carefully towards the back of the library where the restricted section is. He raises his lamp so he can read the titles of the books. Flamel must be in here somewhere, he thinks. The titles of the books don't tell him very much. Many of them have words in foreign languages that he does not understand. Some don't have anything written on them at all. One book is covered with something that looks a lot like dried blood. He feels like the books are whispering to him, as if they know he should not be there. He does not know where to begin looking, so he chooses a heavy silver book and sits on the floor. He opens the book carefully. There is a loud, terrifying shriek that penetrates the silence. The book is screaming in protest. He shuts the book immediately, but the screaming does not stop. He tries to get up, to run away, but he knocks over the lamp. He begins to panic. He does not know what to do. Then, suddenly, he hears footsteps coming quickly in his direction. He puts the heavy book back on the shelf and runs for the exit of the library. He passes Filch in the doorway. Filch is looking straight at him, right in his eyes, but he does not see Harry. Harry manages to pass Filch without being discovered. He can still hear the screaming behind him. He runs and runs until he finally stops. He listens for any footsteps that might be following him. He looks around him and he has no idea where he is. Then, suddenly, Harry hears voices. "You asked me to come to you if I found anyone in the corridors at night. Somebody was in the library, in the restricted section." It is Filch's voice. It is getting closer. Then he hears Snape's voice.
"The restricted section, eh? Well, they can't be far away. We'll catch them."
Then Harry sees them come around the corner and walk towards him. There is an open doorway next to him. He enters the dark room. The voices pass by outside the room and move down the corridor. Finally, they disappear. Harry looks around him. The room looks like an unused classroom. The desks and chairs are pushed against the walls, but there is something in the room that does not look like it belongs there. Leaning against one of the walls is a large mirror. The mirror is magnificent. It is as tall as the ceiling. There is a beautiful gold frame around the mirror. It is standing on 2 feet with claws. There is an inscription above the mirror. It is carved into the wood of the frame. It reads, He steps in front of the mirror. He has to cover his mouth with his hands to stop himself from screaming. He turns around quickly and looks behind him. There is nothing behind him, but in the mirror he not only sees himself, but there is a whole crowd of people standing right behind his reflection. But the room is empty. He looks in the mirror again. He sees his own reflection, white-faced and scared. And there, behind him, are many people. Harry looks over his shoulder again. Still, no one is there. Or are all the people invisible too? He looks back at the mirror. There is a woman standing right behind his reflection. She is smiling and waving. Harry reaches a hand behind him, but he feels only air. The woman and the others only exist in the mirror. She is a very pretty woman. She has dark red hair, and her eyes are just like mine, Harry thinks. Her eyes are bright green. They are the same shape as Harry's eyes. Then he notices that she is crying. She is smiling, but she is also crying at the same time. There is a tall, thin, black-haired man standing next to her. His arm is around her shoulders. He wears glasses, and his hair is messy, just like Harry's hair.
"Mom?"
he whispers.
"Dad?"
They just look at him, smiling. Then Harry looks into the faces of the other people in the reflection. He sees other pairs of green eyes, like his. Their noses are like his nose. Even the little old lady looks like him. Then Harry realizes he is looking at his whole family for the first time in his life. They all smile and wave back at him. Harry feels great joy and deep sadness at the same time. He does not know how long he stands in front of the mirror. The reflections do not disappear. Then he hears a noise outside the room. He must get back to his dormitory, he thinks.
"I'll come back, Mother,"
he says. He looks one more time at his family, then he turns and runs from the room back to Gryffindor House. Later that morning, after everyone wakes up, Harry tells Ron and Hermione about the mirror.
"I'm going back tonight," says Harry. "You should come. You can see all your family too."
Ron makes a face.
"I can see my family when I go home for summer vacation," he says. "Maybe the mirror only shows people who are dead."
Later that night, the three of them go off in search of the mirror. But Harry is worried he will not be able to find the mirror room again. With all of them under the invisibility cloak, they have to walk much slower. But they walk the corridors for a long time before...
"I'm freezing," says Hermione. "Let's forget about it and go home," says Ron.
"No," Harry whispers.
"I know it's here somewhere."
Then suddenly Harry says,
"Here it is! I've found it!"
They push the door open and Harry takes the cloak off. He runs to the mirror. They are all there, his mother, his father, and the relatives he never knew.
"Can you see them?"
Harry asks quietly.
"See what?"
asks Ron in a whisper.
"I can't see anything,"
says Hermione, confused.
"Look again. Look at them all. There are so many people there,"
says Harry excitedly.
"I can only see you, Harry,"
says Ron.
"Come closer and look,"
Harry says. Harry moves to the side and Ron stands in front of the mirror. Harry and Hermione can only see the reflection of Ron in his pajamas. But Ron is staring straight into the mirror with an expression of joy and fear on his face.
"Can you see all your family around you?"
asks Harry.
"No, I'm alone. It's just me. But I look different. I'm older, I think. And I'm head boy."
Ron smiles.
"What?"
asks Hermione.
"I'm holding the house cup and the Quidditch cup. I'm Quidditch captain too."
Ron looks excitedly at Harry and Hermione.
"Do you think the mirror shows the future?"
he asks.
"I don't think so. It only showed my family, and they are all dead,"
Harry says.
"Hermione, do you want to look?"
Ron asks.
"No, thank you,"
she answers. She looks at the mirror suspiciously.
"Let me look again,"
Harry says.
"You had all last night to look. I want to look a little longer,"
Ron says, a little angrily.
"I think we had better leave,"
Hermione whispers.
"This mirror is making you both crazy." "I want to see my parents again,"
Harry says, and he pushes Ron out of the way. There is a sudden noise outside the corridor. The children stop fighting and realize they are talking very loudly.
"Quick!"
Hermione throws the cloak over all of them just as Mrs. Norris walks silently into the room. The children stand perfectly still. Does the cloak work on cats? Harry thinks in terror. After a long time, the cat turns around and leaves the room. The children run back to Gryffindor as quickly and as quietly as they can. But Harry can only think of one thing, the mirror. The other children tell him he should not go back. He will get caught. But nothing will stop Harry from visiting the mirror again. And the next night Harry sneaks out again. He finds the mirror room much more quickly this time. He looks at his reflection, and there are his father and mother smiling at him again. Harry sits on the floor and stares into the mirror. Suddenly,
"So, you're back again, eh, Harry?"
Harry feels like he has turned to ice. He looks behind him. Albus Dumbledore is sitting on one of the desks in the darkness. Harry must have walked right past him when he entered the room.
I didn't see you, sir."
It is interesting how being invisible can distract your attention,
Dumbledore says. Harry is relieved. Dumbledore is smiling.
"So I see you have discovered the wonders of the Mirror of Erised,"
Dumbledore says.
"I didn't know it was called that, sir."
Dumbledore looks closely at Harry.
"But I imagine that by now you know what the mirror does?"
It shows my family,"
Harry responds.
"And it showed your friend Ron as head boy and Quidditch captain,"
continues Dumbledore.
"How did you know?"
Harry asks.
"I do not need a cloak to become invisible,"
says Dumbledore kindly.
"Now think, what does the Mirror of Erised show all of us?"
Harry thinks for a moment.
"It shows us what we want to see."
Dumbledore smiles.
"Yes and no. It shows us nothing more or less than the deepest, most desperate desire of our hearts. You have always wanted to see your family. Ronald Weasley has always wanted to be better than his brothers. But this mirror does not give us knowledge or truth. Men have died by wasting their lives staring into the mirror. They become entranced or have gone crazy. They do not know if the mirror shows them what is real or even what might be possible. The mirror will be moved tomorrow, Harry, and I ask that you not look for it again. If you